In fact, we have done some changes on the website also so that people can easily understand which button to press and where to log in. Otherwise, no, all of us were facing difficulties in understanding where to log in, where the RVCC tools are there. So now that is made clear. So nothing, I think things will be little easy and little better for all of you. So you all can understand it in a much better way. And today we will also have two guests who will be coming. One is Mr. Manish, who is from ICICI, and he is the product head because we will be talking about mutual funds. So what else can be there so that we can have a little more understanding about the products. And we will also have Saurav again coming today, because when I will be sharing the tools, the debt part and all, no, maybe he can actually give a little more value addition to whatever it is. So we will have both of them today. And let me see. So far what we have done, on day one, we understood how to play or do an investor education program, how to interact with your investors and manage volatility and do volatility game. The second day, we understood the financial planning module, and we made a financial plan in a simple few minutes. And we, because I expect that everybody knows how to get into the detail and detailed financial planning. So the idea is making everything simplified. And we also played the volatility game. The third day, we did the technical analysis game, wherein we saw charts and technical things, wherein we could understand how actually we can get triggers, okay, so that when to get in and when to get out, we all can understand that. And after that, we did debt volatility game, wherein we understand within debt also we can actually do a lot of rebalancing. And then it was fundamental analysis, wherein we actually understood how a fund manager actually do the selection, what are the bases, and how we can actually identify multi-bagger stocks, and actually we can create a portfolio for ourselves. So today the idea is to understand mutual funds, because in currently, as we saw, no, that in US we have so many schemes, few lakh schemes. So in India also that day is not far when we will have lakhs and lakhs of schemes. जब लाखों schemes होगी, और as a financial advisor हम लोगों को जज करना होगा, understand करना होगा, और अपने clients को advice देनी होगी कि हम कौन सी scheme उनको suggest करें. तो आज का session mutual fund का ज्ञान नहीं है. म्यूचुअल फंड में कौन सा स्कीम कैसा है, क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं, वो सब कुछ भी नहीं है. हम लोग प्योरली उसको एक एंगेजमेंट तरीके से कैसे एनालाइज करना है, सिर्फ वो सीखेंगे. बाकी सारी की सारी चीजें आपको जितने क्लासेस हैं इधर उधर सब जगह से आप सीख जाओगे. बट समथिंग विच वी विल बी डूइंग इज एब्सोल्युटली लाइक हाउ टू यूज अ टूल, हाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू शुड लुक एट, क्या रेशियोज देखने हैं, जिस तरीके से कल हम लोगों ने देखा उस तरीके से. सो दैट द आइडिया इज आपकी जो 10-12 घंटे की जो पढ़ाई है उसको हम लोग स्क्वीज कर दें, और थोड़ी सी देर में यू कैन एक्चुअली क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ गुड रिजल्ट्स. ठीक है, तो आर वी एंजॉयिंग? इज दिस पैटर्न, इज दिस okay, is this pattern and everything is fine? Are we enjoying this all this learning is making sense? Because we have made it very very short and very precise, जितनी जरूरत है और उसी चीज पे हिट करें, and finally उसी चीज पे हम लोग वर्क करें. ठीक है, using earphones. So good. So I think we have Mr. Manish who is there. If Manish, if you can just raise your hand, I can identify you, or I'll write Manish. This is Manish's iPhone.
That's correct.
This,
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So friends, we have with us Mr. Manish, who is heading products with ICICI Prudential AMC. So I've requested him to come and share certain perspectives as far as debt and equity, all the products are concerned, because we will be talking about mutual fund, we will be doing the analysis, we will be doing the comparison. So it's good to कहते हैं ना वो शेर से समझते हैं एक्चुअल में कैसे खेलते करते हैं शिकार. So it's like that. So from the lions then. Okay. So thank you, Manish, for coming and putting your valuable time here. So over to you, Manish.
Thank you, Kanak. That is one heck of an introduction. Thank you. And Sorry, I think it's just got. Yeah. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for logging in. I'll keep my session very, very brief. So the clear agenda over here is to touch base on how we position our products. So we have a set of equity products, we have a debt side of our products, and then we have hybrid. So I've just broadly classified the complete mutual fund schemes into these three categories. I'm not going into index, ETFs, or fund of fund. Let's keep it very simple for the first session. So we are just focusing equity, hybrid, and debt, how we have positioned various schemes in these buckets. So when we talk about, let's start with equity. And when we talk about equity, everybody very clearly knows that equity is a very, very important aspect, or is a very, very important part of our overall asset allocation for your investors, right? So you require equity as an asset class um, at, at any point of time for an investor's portfolio, because this is the asset class which helps you to give returns which are able to beat inflation. So these are the schemes which will give you long-term wealth creation. So if you have a very aggressive goals like buying a house, buying a car, which requires a good quantum of money and which should beat inflation, equity should be a part of the investor's portfolio. So I'll start with equity. And not sure if you have the presentation connect, if there is this equity blue book which we would have shared with you. There is a slide number 13. No, I think equity is missing over here. Uh, no, I think connect equity blue book is not there in this aspect. No issues. I think I'll cover equity probably on voice, and I can share it later so that you can share it with the complete audience. So apologies for that. We will share these slides. Yes, we can see the messages. We would be sharing all these slides across to you definitely. So when we are talking about equity schemes, so how we have uh, bucketed the complete schemes is in terms of risk and in terms of return, right? So everybody knows that if you go for higher risk, obviously your returns are higher, but it comes with a lot of volatility also. So when we plot our complete equity schemes on risk and return axes, you will very clearly see that on the extreme right, that means extreme right means the quadrant where you have high risk and high return is comes your normally the small cap funds, ICICI Prudential small cap fund. So we have an ICICI small cap fund. Why ICICI small cap is considered to be the extremely high on risk and extremely high on return is very evident that whenever there is a good economic rally or economic revival happens, the one which actually performs much better is the small cap space. Similarly, whenever you see that there is a economical downturn happens, the category which underperforms is small cap. So hence, small cap in our complete portfolio basket is kept on the extreme right end where there is high risk, high return. So definitely, if you're recommending to your investors who are, let's say, 25 years, 30 years, or 35 years, who have a good risk appetite, small cap is a category which you can very comfortably recommend to your investors. So I'm just touching our flagship stand. Starts with small cap on the extreme right hand side. We move slightly towards the lower risk side or the lower return side. You will get our second fund, which is also our flagship fund, is ICICI Prudential Value Discovery Fund. Right? You would have heard this name a lot. This is one of our flagship schemes. ICICI Prudential Value Discovery Fund comes in somewhere in the moderate risk to moderate return basket when we talk about equity schemes. Why value is somewhere in the mid is because value as a strategy would be playing into those stocks, those names, right? Yeah, I think Kanak, thank you. I think this is exactly what we are looking at. So this is the equity blue book which we have created, and it is we would be sharing the presentation across to you. So if we go to slide number 13, sorry. Uh, Yes. Yes, brilliant. This is the one. So this is the one which I was talking verbally to you. Now, thanks to Kanak, it's there on the presentation format in front of it, so you can clearly look at how it has been, how a complete scheme is being put into the risk and return quadrant. So on the extreme side, I'm just touching upon the main flagship scheme because of the limited time period which we have. So I've started with small cap, which clearly highlighted that there is a high return risk probability when you invest in small cap, because it is extremely volatile based on the economic environment, economic scenario, how the growth is engine is. Then we moved on to the second main flagship of ICICI is ICICI Prudential Value Discovery Fund, right? Which is somewhere in the moderate kind of an risk appetite. If you look at value discovery, it normally invests in stocks which are undervalued, which have a better intrinsic value of whatever the price is quoting. So when you invest in value discovery, you need good amount of time for it to perform. Why? Because you are investing in those themes, those schemes, or those stocks which are at this point of time undervalued. So um for it to perform well and to unlock the value, it will take some time. There would be periods like what we have seen in the last 1 2 years. There would be periods when there is an extreme exuberance happening, when there is valuations is extremely high, there is a rally which is happening. You will see value discovery underperforming also, which you have seen last 2 to 3 years. How value discovery has underperformed is mainly because the valuations were extremely high. It was clearly a growth kind of a rally. So that's why it comes in the moderate side of the segment, where you will see value discovery would be performing over a very, very long period of time. Now, just to give you an example, if you've seen last 1 month, if you go back and check it out, value discovery, post the correction, now when the valuations has become comfortable, value discovery has become the top of the category in the last 1 month. So I've just cut short over there. I am not here to actually sell the product. So I'll just move it ahead. So that's how value discovery is positioned in somewhere in the moderate kind of a basket. Then the extreme left end of the risk and return, you will see ICICI Prudential Blue Chip Fund. As the name suggests, a pure true to label product. It invests only in large cap stocks. All the major names you can think of, whether it's ICICI, Maruti, HDFC, all the blue chip, large cap market leaders, it will invest in only those companies. सो ब्लू चिप जैसे आपका नाम बोल रहा है, इट वुड बी इन्वेस्टिंग ओनली इन ब्लू चिप कंपनीज, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट. ये मार्केट लीडर्स रहेंगे, ये रहेंगे जो मेजर प्लेयर्स रहेंगे. सो दीज कंपनीज, ये जो कंपनीज होंगे, अगर आपका देयर इज एन इकोनॉमिक डाउन टर्न हैपनिंग, ये कंपनी रहेंगे जो आपका डाउन साइड प्रोटेक्शन मच मच बेटर प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ये कंपनी होंगे जिन्होंने काफी सारे ऐसे डाउन टर्न्स देखे होंगे, सो दे आर बेटर इक्विप्ड. वो हैंडल कर सकते हैं आपका any of the crisis like what we have seen in COVID-19 kind of a situation. So COVID-19 के बाद जब आपका लॉकडाउन ओपन होगा, you will see the major big market leaders who have a deep pocket, who have a strong balance sheet, ज़्यादा strongly they will perform well. That's why blue chip as a fund जो ऐसे large stocks में invest करता है, it will protect your downside and it will give you a much consistent predictable return. That's why blue chip is somewhere on the extreme left coordinate. So here blue chip में आपका risk भी कम है और return भी consistent रहेगा. So this is how the whole basket of schemes you will find it with most of the AMC. This is our basket of ICC AMC. So if your investor is extremely high risk appetite, you can suggest him small cap. If somewhere in the middle or moderate, you can suggest him value discovery. And if he's extremely risk averse on the equity, diversified equity schemes, you can recommend him blue chip, right? That's from the equity basket. Kanak, probably we can move on to the next segment, that is hybrid. Is you have to probably open the other presentation which is there on asset allocation category. Thank you, Kanak. Yes, the first one. Yes, we can go down. Uh, if we can go to slide number 7. Yes, just wanted to give a background on asset allocation schemes, and then we can go ahead. Yeah, this is important. Yeah, connect the slide number 7, the above one. Right, right, right. Thanks, Karan. So just give a background on hybrid categories of scheme, or we also call them asset allocation kind of a schemes. So what do you mean by asset allocation schemes? Simple language, asset allocation schemes are those which can manage your equity and debt levels based on the market valuations. That means if market valuations is high, it can reduce its equity level, and when the market valuations is cheap, it can increase its equity level. So based on that, we call them as asset allocation schemes. It's kind of a subcategory in the hybrid category. So this slide, which just Connect has put it on your screen, is very important to give a background for asset allocation. Is that why asset allocation or hybrid schemes is important in today's world? Is because if you see left side of the table, if you look at, if you have any investors who comes to you normally, they come with these kind of an expectations that on an annual basis, like if you look at left side, year 1 I should get a return of 12%, year 2 I should get a return of 12%, year 3 I should get a 12%. So investor who comes to you comes with an expectation that on an yearly basis I should get a 12% kind of an expectation. That's his background. But what happens in reality, it won't be the same case. In reality, what happens, you might get on the year 1 8%, year 2 there is a possibility that market has corrected and you will have negative 14%, year 3 because of market has corrected, you will see the equity market going up by 48%. So definitely when you have equity market, if you invest for let's say 4 5 years, you will see volatility. But if you look at the final average return post all these crises, all this volatility, it might be average would be 12%. So journey is different. What investors comes with a journey is that yeah, I will have a smooth ride, exactly straight. But what happens in reality is volatile period. So when people have these kind of a psychological barriers when they invest, what happens is that after second year, I'm pretty sure that people would see that okay, it's below our expectation. First year I didn't got 12%, सेकेंड ईयर में भी मेरे को 12% का रिटर्न नहीं आया, मेरे को नेगेटिव 14% आया है, मेरे ख्याल से ये फंड मेरे लिए अच्छा नहीं है, मैं निकाल के इसको फिक्स डिपॉजिट में डाल देता हूँ. आप जब फिक्स डिपॉजिट में चले जाते हैं आफ्टर 3 इयर्स, आपका पूरा एवरेज रिटर्न जो है वो गिर जाता है. बट अगर इफ इन्वेस्टर्स हैज कैन कम अप ओवर देयर साइकोलॉजिकल बैरियर एंड स्टे इन्वेस्टेड फॉर ईयर्स, आपने जो सोचा था लेट्स से 15-12% का रिटर्न, इफ यू स्टे फॉर दैट 4-5 years, इफ यू अलाउ वो जो स्कीम्स को परफॉर्म करने के लिए, योर एवरेज रिटर्न वुड बी 12%. सो ये वाला पॉइंट आपको अपने कस्टमर्स को बोलना बहुत जरूरी है जब आप इक्विटी स्कीम्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, हाइब्रिड स्कीम्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. आपका जर्नी थोड़ा लॉन्ग होना चाहिए टू गिव यू मच बेटर कंफर्ट जर्नी. Okay, so if we move ahead, if we go directly to slide number 17, if we go to slide number 17, yeah, this is our product bouquet. So I'll again touch base on our product bouquet, right? Hybrid products और asset allocation products का ये पूरा suite है हमारे पास. इसमें क्या है, आपके इन्वेस्टर के रिस्क एपिटाइट के बेसिस वी हैव क्रिएटेड वेरियस प्रोडक्ट्स over here, right? And the importance, like I've highlighted, hybrid funds are super important for your investor. It should be a core part of your portfolio because it actually tempers down your portfolio. Imagine आपका जो अभी आपने last 1 month में 30-33% का correction देखा है, most of the asset allocation schemes would have fallen by only 10 or 15%. Why? Because it has a good portion of equity, it has a good portion of debt. So आपका downside protection बहुत important हो जाता है by having these asset allocation schemes in your investors portfolio. Hence, we very strongly recommend आप लोगों को कि जब आप recommend करते हैं investors को, don't only overboard on the equity diversified schemes, also invest in the hybrid schemes. So let's look at our hybrid schemes, how they have been positioned, what's their structure. हमारे एसेट एलोकेशन स्कीम्स में जो सबसे एग्रेसिव या सबसे एक्सट्रीम आता है, on the right hand side if you see ICICI Prudential Equity and Debt Fund, it comes under the balance category. यहाँ पे आपका जो इक्विटी लेवल है that can range between 65 to 80. इसका मतलब जब मार्केट बहुत चीप होगा तो आपका इक्विटी लेवल 80% हो सकता है, और मार्केट जब एक्सपेंसिव होगा इट कैन कम डाउन टू 65%, राइट. सिमिलरली वी हैव सेकंड, if there are investor who says that कि नहीं मेरे को इतना aggressive नहीं लेना है, I wanted to come one step down, then there is another product if you look at one tap down which is ICICI Prudential multi asset fund, जिसका रेंज अगर आप देखें it can be huge range, 10 to 80% के बीच में play कर सकता है. That means when market is very expensive it will come as low as 10, very cheap it can go as high as 80%. If the investor says that कि नहीं, can you give me something much more conservative in the asset allocation bucket, then you can give the next product which is a step down, which is ICICI Prudential Balance Advantage Fund. This is our flagship fund. It's close to 30,000 crore, and this has revolutionized the category, due to which SEBI has launched a dynamic asset allocation category also. So Balance Advantage Fund is very important for us. Why? Because here also you will get huge range. तो मैं आपको एग्जांपल दिखा रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. जैसे आपने देखा है यहाँ पे अगर मार्केट बहुत चीप है तो it can go as high as 80%, and when market is very expensive it can go as low as 30%. I'll give you real life example. On Feb end में हम लोगों का बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड में जो एक्सपोजर था इक्विटी का that was only 48%. आज आफ्टर कोविड-19 के क्राइसिस के कारण बाद में जब मार्केट करेक्ट हुआ है 30-35%, the balance advantage fund was able to take its equity level to 75%. So you can believe from 48 to 75%, the fund has gone up in equity levels. This is the beauty of all these products, the asset allocation schemes, that based on the market valuation, it can change its equity and debt level. That's a big. So अगर तो आपका अगर कोई इन्वेस्टर बोलता है कि नहीं मेरे को बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड से भी थोड़ा और कंजर्वेटिव चाहिए, और थोड़ा कंजर्वेटिव, लेट्स से इट्स फॉर अ रिटायर पर्सन और इट्स फॉर अ सीनियर सिटीजन, तो वो बोल रहे हैं कि आपको थोड़ा और कंजर्वेटिव चाहिए, then we have a product as equity savings fund where the equity level can range between 50 to 50%, 15 to 50%. Market expensive, you can go down 15. Market cheap, you can go as high as 50%. Now the last product in this bucket is, if further your investor says that कि नहीं मेरे को थोड़ा और conservative चाहिए, can I have product which is extremely safe on the asset allocation side, you can give ICICI Prudential regular savings fund where the equity level ranges between 10 to 25%. Right? The only caveat here you have to notice is that regular savings fund is the only fund which is having a debt taxation. Rest all, equity savings fund, balance advantage fund, multi-asset and equity debt fund all enjoys equity taxation. Yeah. So that's the product basket from ICICI Prudential side. This is how we have constructed our asset fixed income space. So probably we can go to the fixed income space. Last part is, we also say that it's very important that investors should also have a good exposure towards debt schemes also, or fixed income schemes also. Why? Because fixed income schemes, probably we'll create a case through all the slides which we have. So slide 4, if you can observe very closely, if you can look at the slide, what you can observe clearly over here is that, look at various phases. You would have seen certain phases where the equity markets have given a great return. Certain phase where the consolidation phase, you have seen almost like 2% return for almost 10 years. Then there is a phase where the CAGR return is fast. Then there is a consolidation phase. So equity as an asset class goes through various cycles, right? Kanak, if you can move to the next slide. This is an example of how gold as an asset class has performed. Here also, if you see, there was a huge consolidation phase of almost 20 years from 1987 to till 2000, where gold has not given any return, 0% for the last 20 years. But post that, you have seen a very fast rally. So gold as an asset class is also something which gives a lot of cyclicality to your overall portfolio. Now the next slide, if we go, Kanak, if we go to the next slide, yeah, this is an asset class which is real estate. Let's take an example of real estate also. Real estate in 1995 से 2003 का पीरियड अगर देखें, and 2012 से आज का डेट अगर आप रियल एस्टेट का देखें, the returns has been flat, बिल्कुल फ्लैट, आपको 0 to 2% के बीच का रिटर्न दिया है. So this is also an asset class which gives you a cyclical returns. So all these things which I've talked, equity, gold, yeah, real estate. It adds a lot of cyclicality to your portfolio. So if you go to the next slide, uh, uh, right, if you can go directly skip to slide number 10, connect. Yeah, just focus on the bottom table. It highlights that debt is the only asset class, or fixed income is the only asset class which comes without cyclicality. So here we have taken an example of ICICI Prudential short term fund, और इसका हम लोगों ने रोलिंग रिटर्न देखा है. दैट मींस इसका हिस्टोरिकल परफॉर्मेंस देखा है ऑन अ 5-year basis हाउ दिस फंड हैज परफॉर्म. इफ यू लुक एट इट्स एवरेज रिटर्न हैज ऑलवेज बीन 8.32, or its minimum returns at any point of time has remained at 6.5%. The main drawing point of fixed income schemes is that it avoids all these cyclicality. It will give you a staggered, consistent returns. So it is also a very important part of your portfolio that you should have a good allocation towards fixed income schemes, because it will reduce the cyclicality of various other asset class. It has a low correlation to equity or gold or real estate. It will give you that 6.5-7% return. So hence, please recommend aggressively debt schemes also to your investors. Now, the part which we should talk about importantly is slide number 14, the positioning of how ICICI Prudential debt schemes, so that you can get an idea that how we position our various schemes. Yeah, slide number 14. Thank you, Kanak. Here, if we will share the presentation also, so for your further reading. But here, if you look at, we have mapped the whole asset allocation, or we have mapped the whole fixed income schemes based on the maturity profile, right? So the extreme short end, that is on the extreme left hand side, we have the liquid or the overnight fund, which has the least maturity. सो आपका लिक्विड फंड जो होगा उनका मेच्योरिटी जो होगा अप्रोक्सीमेटली 45-50 डेज का रहेगा. ओवरनाइट फंड्स का जो मेच्योरिटी रहता है वो 1 दिन का रहता है. तो आपके पास ऐसे कई इन्वेस्टर्स होंगे जो बोलेंगे कि मेरे को सिर्फ लेट्स से 7 दिन का पैसा डालना है या सिर्फ 10 दिन का पैसा डालना है, उसके बाद शायद मेरे को कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट है. आपके पास कई कॉर्पोरेट्स ऐसे आएंगे जो बोलेंगे शायद मेरे को 7 दिन का पैसा डालना है, 10 दिन का डालना है. जब आपको इतना छोटा मेच्योरिटी वाला कोई इन्वेस्टर आता है, so what product you can recommend for those people? You have a product called as like ICICI Prudential Liquid Fund or ICICI Prudential Overnight Fund. These are the most safest schemes, mutual fund schemes in the whole bouquet, whether you're talking about equity, hybrid or debt, because these invest in highly liquid money market instruments. So अगर आपके पास कोई इन्वेस्टर आता है 7 दिन 10 दिन, you can clearly recommend them ICICI Prudential any liquid fund as a category. Now let's move ahead. अगर कोई इन्वेस्टर आपके पास आके बोलता है कि मेरे पास शायद 1 महीने के लिए मेरे पास पार्क करने के लिए पैसा है या 2 महीने के लिए पार्क करने के लिए पैसा है, so there is a category called as money market funds, which all AMCs have, where the maturity is roughly around 2 to 3 months. These are the products which you can recommend to these set of investors, saying that कि ये 1-2 महीने के लिए these are the better product to be invested, right? So if like that, if you have investors who says that okay, now I have a 6 months kind of a horizon, then you can elevate them to categories like low duration, right? Like here we have low duration is ICICI Prudential Savings Fund, which has a 6 to 12 months kind of a average maturity. Or these are where we will say that here investors can easily invest with a 3 to 6 months kind of a horizon. Now, if you have investors who wanted to invest for let's say more than 1 year, typical to आपके fixed deposit kind of a solution. So normally अगर आपने देखा banks में जो fixed deposit डालते हैं, they normally invest in fixed deposit of 1 year and all. So if investor says that I wanted a similar product on the mutual fund side, a fixed deposit kind of a product, then you have products like 1 to 3 years space में ICICI Prudential Corporate Bond Fund or ICICI Prudential Short Term Fund or ICICI Prudential Banking PSU Fund, which plays in that 1 to 3 years. So if an investor have a more than 1 year kind of an exposure, they can invest in these category of funds. So based on their indicative investment. I'm getting a lot of messages. I think credit part also I will cover in the next slide. So just bear with me for 5 minutes. I'll cover the credit funds also in the next slide. So finally, if investors have a very long horizon, let's say they wanted to come with a 5-year or a 6 years, 7 years, do you have a solution? Yes, mutual funds have products like bond fund or a long-term bond fund, which have a maturity of more than 4 to 7 years, which can be recommended to these set of investors. So based on your indicative investment horizon, you need to understand very clearly that कि इनका indicative investment horizon कैसा है. अगर कोई 10 दिन के लिए आ रहा है और आपने गलती से उन्हें शॉर्ट टर्म फंड रिकमेंड कर दिया, which is 1 to 3 year kind of a average maturity, तो अगर मार्केट में वॉलेटिलिटी हुआ फिक्स इनकम में तो उनको काफी पेन रहेगा. तो इसलिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आप किसी भी स्कीम का एवरेज मैच्योरिटी समझिए, उसका इंडिकेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट होराइजन क्या है, उसके बेसिस पे उनको रेकमेंड करिए, नहीं तो उनको एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ा खराब हो सकता है. If you go to the next slide, which covers our credit schemes also, we have kept credit schemes slightly separate because यहाँ पे भी we have tried to cover all the buckets of the maturity side. अगर किसी इन्वेस्टर्स को 3 to 6 months किसी क्रेडिट फंड में डालना है, credit funds, those funds, to simplify the definition, credit funds are those which have higher exposure towards, let's say, AA, single A kind of a paper. So अगर कोई इन्वेस्टर 3 से 6 महीने के लिए पार्क करना चाहता है in a good credit fund, we have a fund called as ICC Prudential Ultra Short Term Fund, which has roughly 48-50% in AA, single A with a maturity of around 6 months. So this is a good product for 6 months. Now, if you have an investor who wanted to invest in credit funds with 6 to 12 months, थोड़ा लंबा horizon है उसका, but he wanted to have good exposure towards a AA single A paper. अब benefit क्या होता है AA single A paper का, is that it gives you better carry. YTM थोड़ा अच्छा रहता है, carry बहुत अच्छा रहता है. अगर 6 से 12 महीने का है तो then we have a product like floating interest fund with a maturity of 6 to 12 months. Then if an investor have a 1 to 3 year kind of a horizon, the ideal product would be credit risk fund, which has a maturity of almost close to 2.5 years. If investors wanted slightly further horizon, let's say 3 to 4 years, we have the last category in our credit fund, which is medium term bond fund, which has an average maturity of 3.5 years. So this chart is very important based on your indicative investment horizon of investors, based on the port schemes, average maturity, you should be recommending that. With that, I'm happy, Kanak. I'm happy that I've covered and you have given an opportunity for presenting all three buckets, that is equity, hybrid, and fixed income. I hope it was helpful. Kanak, over to you if anything else I need to add. Kanak, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to hear you. I think.
Sorry, I did not.
Yeah. Now
I was mute. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Manish. Thank you for your time. And I think if there are certain questions, I will share it with you. Thank you very much. See you in the evening.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay. So let's get back to the plan today. So what I am going to do is I'll share a very small presentation. Then we will directly go to the website and we will see the tool, how it works and how we all can actually use it. And then Saurav Jain will also join and he will also talk when I'm talking about the tool, which is the debt part again related to that we will see. Okay. So let's go to the presentation immediately. Don't worry, things are very, very not. Here we have. See, all this 5 books are already shared with you in your WhatsApp group. Okay. So there is nothing pending from our side. We have already shared it. So when we are doing this analysis, I think one major important idea or the thing which we have actually seen is the ratio analysis. Okay. Maybe when we were in our college or when we were doing our higher studies, we have seen that this is probably, and this is actually practically very, very useful. That is something which we can see now and understand now. Okay. So let me just share with you. It will not take much time when sharing. all the details, everything is given in your module. Okay, I have just put all that one page into maybe 9 slides here, nothing more than that. So everything is there in one single sheet, which is there given in your module. So you can just have a look at it. So what I'll just, okay. So ratio analysis, okay. What we all look at is the rate of return, kitna CAGR aaya, IRR aaya, and all those things which is there, okay. But certain things which we all can look at is the rate of return, the analysis part. Okay? So now there are few ratios which I will be sharing. So in all the cases, okay, higher is the better, but there are few where lower is the better. Okay, standard deviation is one of them. Now, what is standard deviation? Standard deviation is the investment returns if you are comparing with the average return. Okay, that is the standard deviation, and lower it is, the better it is. Okay, so when we are looking स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड सिंपली, अगर हमको कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आता है, हम लोग को एक ही चीज देखना है, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन कम है, अच्छा है, वी विल इन्वेस्ट इनटू दैट फंड. सो इट इज लाइक दैट, स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. वी मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, शार्प रेशियो. अब यहां से अभी जितने भी शेयर कर रहे हैं, हायर द बेटर. ओके, शार्प रेशियो इज वट एवर इट इज, जितना ज्यादा होगा उतना अच्छा होगा. शार्प रेशियो क्या है? दिस इज द एडिशनल रिटर्न विद द रिस्क फ्री रेट ऑफ रिटर्न वट एवर इज अवेलेबल इन द मार्केट. मार्केट में कितना नॉर्मल है, लेकिन उससे आपका जो पोर्टफोलियो का रिटर्न है वो कितना ज्यादा है. तो ज्यादा जितना होगा उतना बेटर है, तो हायर द बेटर. So that is the reason this is better. Another ratio is Jensen alpha ratio. Here also, higher it is, the better it is. So what is this? This is alpha comparing the theoretical return, okay, of the market. Market में theoretically कितना चल रहा है अभी? 8% चल रहा है या 7 चल रहा है, whatever. उससे theoretically जो चलता है उससे कितना ज्यादा है आपका पोर्टफोलियो, that gives a. तो ये भी जितना ज्यादा होगा उतना अच्छा होगा. Then Brenner ratio. इसमें भी क्या है? Higher the better. Now how, what you can understand? This is the additional return which you are actually creating. Okay, additional return जो कि normal market से whatever we are creating, so that we can actually do. Lot of people are writing lot of SMS also. Okay, I'll see all the messages little later. Please don't write anything. Just let's see all the ratios. All the details are there in your book. We'll just go through them very, very fast. Okay, so this is the additional return. Maybe अगर नाम याद नहीं रहता है कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, not important. But what is relevant, because anyway that name will be there in that comparative scheme analysis schemes which will. तो अपने लोग को एक ही चीज का ध्यान रखना है, सारी चीजें ज्यादा बेटर है और क्या कम है, बस उतना समझ में याद रखना है. Okay, 14 ratio. What is it? This is again average return plus per unit of downside risk. Okay, नीचे कितना जा सकता है, वो रिस्क कितनी है, उसके विजाविज आपका रिटर्न क्या है. सो वहां पे भी ये जितना ज्यादा होगा उतना अच्छा है. Information ratio. This is again very, very important. This is the rate of return, okay, which is the return which is there compared to the benchmarks. Okay, usually this is the volatility, the index and all those other things. So when you are comparing, ये तो दोनों ही एस्पेक्ट में, इक्विटी हो, डेट हो, दोनों के केस में this is very important. So information ratio is your versus the benchmark. If you are able to compare it, obviously जितना ज्यादा होगा it is good. Then the other one is R square. Okay, R square also, higher the better. What is R square? It's the portfolio price which is the again the benchmark. The market जो भी है उसके comparison में आपका portfolio का price क्या है. Maybe हम लोग सब I don't know how many of you have actually gone in detail rather, but इतना don't get bothered about इतने terms or these ratios. But what is important we will have to understand is all of them higher rahe, so it is good, excepting the two ratios. One is the standard deviation and the other one is expense ratio. Expense ratio जितना कम रहेगा अच्छा है, ये हम लोग सब जानते हैं, I'm sure everyone knows. दूसरा standard deviation, lower it is, better it is. So these two are the major one. Other than that, all of them they should be higher the better. उन सब के benchmarks होते हैं. When we will see the analysis live, we will be able to understand. Okay, so this is done for the presentation. Done, फटाफट. So it was see absolutely fast. And The idea is हम लोग चीजों को जल्दी से शॉर्ट में समझ सकें. That is more important. ठीक है ना? Okay, let me just check if Saurav is there. If you can raise your hand, Saurav, if you are there. Otherwise, I will just continue with the comparison. So let's go to the website now. Okay, I'm taking you to the website now and look at the website again. Lot of you are having lot of issues when they are coming to see why you all are unable to log in the website, because you are logging in this place. This is not the login. This is only for volatility coaches. Okay, so clearly we have mentioned it. Till yesterday it was only written login. Now we have written volatility coaches login. So you will not log in here. Okay, the second place wherein we have created this tool, this was the place, but now we have created one more area. Now this is RVCC tools. Okay, I think all of you can see this. Okay, so this is the place, RVCC tools. Once you click this letter, then this will open. See, like this. So when this is open, obviously you will have to give your password ID first, but once you give it in your laptop, it will share. Then we have all these tools. Okay, this is financial planning tool we have done, fundamental we have done, and today we are doing mutual fund analysis tool. Okay, so let me just click this one. I hope all of you can see this. So we will just put get started. Okay, so let's understand equity first, and then we will understand debt, and we will obviously do the practice section. There is a practice which is sometime in past, not very long, maybe few years, so that we know whether we are doing right or not. हम लोग सही कर रहे हैं या गलत कर रहे हैं. With the analysis, we will be able to see हमने ऐसा analysis किया, and this is again and again I am telling, it is about permutation and combination. आप बहुत बार करोगे, एक बार, दो बार, पांच बार, 10 बार, automatically you will start creating your own way of analyzing things. I am not telling whatever way I will do that is perfect. Maybe Ram Prasad, or maybe Rashmi Deshpande, or maybe Viral Shah. Any one of you can be better. So it is about how you are analyzing. Same was with equity portfolio, same is with this. This will depend on advisor to advisor. How you are looking at the same thing. एक ही चीज को different people will look in a different way, but what we are sharing here is a technique, a process. Okay, so once that technique or the process is there, that is going to help you. Okay, so what we will do is we will get into the practice mode first. Live mode mein you will not get the returns. Okay, but in this case you will get. Now this is coming. अब इसमें हम लोग क्या करेंगे, all नहीं करके let's take large cap. ठीक है, large cap. So you have, see, as you can see, there are all varieties, all the varieties of equity fund, of all the AMCs, even thematic, ETF, everything is there. Okay, everything is there. हर चीज है यहाँ पे. ठीक है, हम लोग for time being अपने लोग सिर्फ एक बार large cap का देखते हैं. Let's take an example. And if you want to see if all the years returned, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, we are taking let's say 1 year. ठीक है, अब हम लोग क्या करेंगे, हम लोगों ने क्या देखा था इक्विटी फंड में, कैसे सिलेक्ट करेंगे AUM. If you just put descending, you will see the highest AUM coming first, then उसके बाद and then it can automatically change. Okay, तो इसको हम लोग none कर सकते हैं, never mind. Then there is an AMC name, scheme name written, expense ratio. अगर हमको expense ratio we want lowest expense ratio, then we'll have to put ascending. ये सबसे कम expense ratio है 1.09 of this particular fund. Then there is Edelweiss fund. Then there is JM fund. So different funds will have different asset ratio. Now सबसे पहला चीज what we will see is CAGR. We will see, let's say, whichever company is having the highest return which they have given, let's consider them as a focus. So let's say in this category we got two schemes, IDFC focus and Axis focus. So this way we have got two schemes. So we have identified. So I have clicked them. Okay. Okay. So we got this also. Let's take this. So these are the top funds. as far as CAGR is concerned. So we have taken that. Now, standard deviation का मैंने क्या कहा था? Lower the better. So we'll take ascending. So this is the lowest. So some of them which is very, very low, let's take, let's say UTI, SBI. हम लोग we are trying and taking the top 2 in all the categories. Okay. Then see there are more. This ratio, Sharpe ratio, और ये जितना कम होगा उतना अच्छा है. Okay. So this is also no कम नहीं ज़्यादा. Sorry. Higher the better. Okay. See, we have taken all the 3. They are already there. We need not select. ठीक है? We are checking. And then we again go for Sharpe ratio. Okay. See again, this is also there. How it has come? क्योंकि हम लोगों ने already ले लिया था. But we are checking. Huh? You are understanding, no? What I am trying to explain. And then negative count. मतलब एक साल में how many times it has become negative? If we put ascending, we will see that this is cut 3 times, 4 times. So जितना कम बार negative count होगा वो उतना अच्छा है. So we will just see again. See these 3 schemes are coming. Whatever we have selected has come invariably. Information ratio. This is also lower the better. Okay. So in this we can see these are the schemes which has come probably. Sorry, information ratio should be higher. तभी मैं देखूं ऐसे कैसे हो गया ये. See, information ratio is higher. This is higher 0.25, 0.19 and so on and so forth. Okay. So see already we have 2 schemes already there which we have already selected. अब देखते हैं हम लोग कि कुछ schemes जो information ratio के हिसाब से which are not good. See this is there. Some of the schemes which have not performed, this Franklin, Taurus, DHLF, Reliance, Sahara, JMC. These are the schemes. They have been like the worst performing schemes. But the idea of all this analysis is we probably अभी जो एकदम top में है और जो एकदम bottom में है उससे भी ज़्यादा better है I think something which is doing averaging in between every time. Okay, so that way it can be done. And rolling return. Rolling return is also a very good way. So ये obviously जितना ज़्यादा है उतना अच्छा है. So rolling return किसका कितना ज़्यादा है. Okay, again all these 3 schemes have already come in again. There is another Bank of Baroda which has come. So maybe if you want you can add some return like ICICI Group Focus has also come, or if you want you can add Bank of Baroda also which has come because of this reason. So let's Vesco India, Sundaram Focus has also come. So these are some of the schemes. So like let's say 3, 6, 7 schemes has come. So it all depends if you want to reduce, remove, keep on adding. And now again we are talking about large cap. Actually large cap किसमें ज़्यादा है? We will have to see that. Okay. Okay. So this is coming like that. So higher the large cap. Okay. So actually it is in a different large cap percentage I will take. We should not take this. This is a different figure. So it is like this. So this one you should look at. 98%. Now most of the time no people tell that हम large cap है, but are they actually a large cap? तो हम लोग अगर large cap का focus करके large cap में invest करा रहे हैं, see now here is a difference. When you consider large cap, see almost all the companies who are in top, they are not virtually as large cap as these companies are. So जैसा example हमने देखा, कि see in this case 98%, 97%, 95%, 93%. To some extent, some of the stocks which is there, which is not large cap as it should be. So again, in our category, जो आया है, Invesco and ICICI is coming in our category. So we will have to see overall, whatever thing we are suggesting, क्या वो सब category में everywhere it is doing well or not. This is something which is very, very important. So that has to be analyzed. So large cap, mid cap and all. So something no, अब large cap fund है, why I don't want to take any small cap exposure. So I will see ascending. जिसमें सबसे कम almost 0% है, I will prefer that. Herein, these are the companies where small cap is 0. Okay, so it is good. So even in our selected area, ICICI and Invesco, they have come. which is again a part of this. So same way, once we see all this and others and all, okay, P ratio. Okay, so if you want to see P ratio, ये क्या होता है? Lower the better. So let's say ascending. So in ascending, like this is the 20, 23, 24. So this will keep on going up. Now, this is up to you how you see that. See, none of them is in our top category what we have selected. Okay. So almost all the large cap funds have a very high P ratio. Invesco and again then ICICI is coming. But below that, if you just only see P ratio wise, HDFC, these are having the very, very low P ratios. Now, what is the basis of your comparison? That is very, very important. Agar if you want to give a little more emphasis on P ratio, you can consider and you can give a tick. Let's say हम लोग को लगता है चलो हम लोग P ratio के basis पे भी अगर देखते हैं, so let's give a tick to HDFC large cap. Okay, because based on that, this is the cheapest. And maybe no Aditya Birla Finance also if you want, or maybe we'll see later. So this way you have seen. And last but not the least, this is the previous year which has given the highest return. So this is the previous year return. Okay, let's say these are the companies in that particular year. This is not the current, huh? This is not the current scenario. This is few years back. So in this, if you see, okay, see, which means like previously all these returns, all these companies have given, and we have already selected. So we have already selected some of the stocks, and finally let's take it forward. So let's go to next. So when we go to next, what do we see? That this is the fund which we have selected. This is our selection. Okay. And see the average return here is like this, what has come. See, there is a little issue which will come in case of return because lot of schemes, no names have changed. So in that case, what problem happens, no? Software में थोड़ा सा कि they are unable to understand certain schemes, no, which name has changed, so they are putting it 0 over here. Okay, so don't go by that. This is your selection. You can just do it just because the names have changed in next 1 year, because this was again a 2018 data, and 2018 to 19 in 1 year all the schemes names were changed. So that is the reason they are showing 0, but actually it is not 0. So don't worry about it. But the idea is this is the way you have actually identified a particular portfolio and you have seen that. So this is one we have seen in case of a large cap fund, and that way we will go to then home page again. So इसी तरीके से you can have others also. Then again debt is also there. We'll share that later. First let's understand this. So again in practice we see we can go for a different schemes. See, the idea is whenever we are advising, whenever we are identifying, these data can actually be used. How to use that? That is very, very important. Okay. Chaliye, let's see. Let's take some question and answer at this point of time. And or rather, मैं कहूँगा कि let me give you 10 minutes here. Okay. 10 minutes में you all go to the website, go to the equity fund analysis, do your own, identify 5 funds or 10, 5, 6 funds, okay, in or maybe 3 funds, 3 in mid cap, 3 in large cap, and 3 in multi cap. Okay, so multi cap, large cap we have done, multi cap and mid cap. So these 2 categories you just find out 2, 3 or top 5 fund based on your things. Okay, so once you have done, we can all come and see how things have worked. Okay, so let me see if any other questions are there, we will take it. Okay, which year data is this? This is again, I told you, no, user ID, password, everything is shared. User ID, password, everything is shared in group, on email, again and again and again and again. Deepak ji, why are you asking? Not getting the hybrid fund? Yes, you will get it. Some of them are in debt also, so don't worry, you will have everything. Let me just see. This is hybrid fund. Hybrid domestic and global, okay, diversified index, mid cap, large cap. This is actually coming that international fund, not the one. So go through that for next 10 minutes for mid cap and multi cap, and then we will see diversified. I'll see, maybe some other name is there, because we have got some development done yesterday also in this particular software. There is a regular update and development work going on. Okay, for whatever is net, I've understood what you all are looking at. See, even thematic Sharia fund is there, emerging market, commodity. Okay, so all of you go through this, and if there is a question, you can raise hand, or maybe no. Let's do. पहले आप लोग let's 5 to 7 minutes, 10 minutes. You all just practice, see, and then only let's get it. Only one filter at a time. Yes, one filter you use, then it is almost, and then you tick, and then you go to the next filter, then you tick. Okay, what is the weightage to be assigned to each ratio? It is up to you. You can provide weightage maybe 100% to one, or maybe, yeah, 1 year hi kariye. Yes, 1 year is good. Yes, beta is also there. सब कुछ है. Everything is there. You just have a look. आप देखेंगे, आप अपने आप you will discover. So see, in this case ने Sudipto will have a different, Sudipto de, Ravindra ji will have, Abhay ji will have, every Bhaskar, all of you will have different way of analyzing. ठीक है? So don't worry about it. Just analyze करिए, उसको देखिए and see multi cap में and small cap, multi cap and mid cap. What is the top 3 fund coming according to you? Just have a look at it and we will see. If something is not there today, we will just see so that it is not opening. Please wait. Please wait, message coming. Will open. Don't worry about it. Just have a look. I want to have a look at it, and then during the day, all of you can actually see that. Returns are not getting shown. Why? पहली बार कुछ भी करेंगे थोड़ा सा अजीब लगेगा, but once you have done it, it will work. Just have a look at it. Okay, Lalit Kumar Garg, you have a question. Trying it again. When the tab change, all the data changes. No issues. Saurav, I have unmuted you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sanjay Kumar. See, you don't look at the average return. As I told you, no, because the names were changed, the average of some, no, some of them are showing zero finally. But your selection is absolutely okay. No problem in that. Because it is showing zero, you see, there are some schemes which is name has changed. So that is the reason it is showing zero. We are trying to work on that so that the name change schemes becomes one. Don't worry. You see overall thing how it works. But otherwise, no, this return you will see. And after that, we can also go to the current data. Confusion in CAGR returned in the previous year returned. Okay. CAGR is the compounded annual growth return, and previous year return is the simple return, which is coming, which you see in this AMC people or any website and all which they are showing. Money control or value research, all they will show. You'll have to raise your hand. I don't know from where. Okay. Banking fund not seen. Okay, whatever is not seen, just let me know on maybe on a personal chat or maybe in the group. I will just see. Okay, see, don't look at this average fund because this year the returns were not bad. It was good. Only thing is because some schemes name change, no. So that is the reason they are showing zero. You see on the right side, extreme right side, the returns of all the schemes is like that. Returns will not be 0.55 or something like that. Okay, Saurav?
हाँ भैया, yes भैया.
Yeah, would you like to tell something from the debt fund you want to show there and get everyone going?
Yes.
Please show that so that you see that also. And after that, we will have again a 5-minute break so that you all can see and understand. Okay, over to you, Saurav.
Okay, thank you भैया. Thanks everyone. Good morning. Yeah, let me just take you to that slide. Yeah, so you also have this option. Once you click on that game, you have an option of debt as well as of equity, correct? So now you go into the debt fund. So once you click get started, let me just go back and let's all of us be together. Yeah, so you can see this panel. So let's go into the mutual fund and then get started. So you will have debt. So let's go into the debt one and let's go into a practice module. A lot of time, you were asking how should we select a fund? So when I was doing the debt session, this query was continuously coming. So here we have tried to create a model so that, it becomes very easy as per the respective category, how we should choose the fund. So say for example, let's take a simple example. If we want to look at an ultra short-term fund, so there is a tab where we have put all sort of funds. So let's take ultra short-term category. So in ultra short-term category right now, if we have to see how many companies, are having maximum AAA rated fund, किसके पास सबसे ज़्यादा AAA rated fund है और हमको वैसे select करना है. So what we will do, first filter we can do with AUM. As I told you, we should work with only those companies right now who has a decent size AUM. That is very important. So if I put AUM ascending to descending, so these are some very, very good funds, which large chunks, large size funds, which has a decent AUM. But beside AUM, if you would look at this column, AAA, so if you look at that, out of all these three, out of all these funds, some are having 50%, 60% AAA. SBI Ultra Short Term, say for example, is having 80% AAA. So again, we can do this AAA, and if we can just put in AAA filter also. So if we just put a AAA filter, what we will get, these are like Motilal Oswal, DSP, Ultra, Tata. They are having highest AAA rated papers in their portfolio. So with that, just with a click of a button, you can compare all other mutual funds who are having, AAA. So if you look at the bottom, I think, JM or maybe Franklin low duration, Kotak low duration, or Franklin Ultra. So probably these are the one who has the least AAA rated. That is why, as we said that, during such time, we should stick to AAA. So if you click on it, you will get to see fund houses whose paper are AAA. Now, what you have to look at the expense ratio and the yield. So currently, this is the YTM which these funds are offering. Many a times, when we recommend debt funds, you look at the past return. But, during such time, I feel that all the fund managers, all the funds, they will change their composition very fast. All of them would like to move to AAA and, a lot of paper change would happen. So now looking at the past trend will not give you the, the correct picture that how the fund is being placed right now. How many AAA, how many AA is the fund having right now. So suppose like you have taken, like these are the funds who are having maximum AAA. So now looking at what the client required. So this is a fund which has a YTM of 6.8 and this is the expense ratio 0.89. If you remove 6.8 minus 0.89, you will get this 5.91. So for example, if an investor who is putting money into this fund, the net yield to that investor would be YTM minus expense ratio and he would get 5.91. So here we can look at, say, for example, maybe DSP money manager, AAA, 90% is almost AAA, 7.55 is YTM, and after reducing expense ratio, it is coming to 6.55. So approximately 6.5% a client can get. Similarly, ultra short L&T or maybe similarly Tata. So this is one way whereby, just by putting a filtration of AAA, you can be rest assured that yes, whether my funds are correct or not, whether I have allocated most of my funds into ultra short term and they are into AAA rated, because for all the funds, we don't have, that much time कि हम सबका fact sheet download करें and we see each and every fund who is AAA, who is AA. So, and let's calculate the percentage. So because in fact sheet, many a times alphabetical wise they give AAA, AA. So this is one way whereby, you can figure it out, the paper, the funds as per the rating. So I think this is one very helpful tool. Apart from that, you have last 1 year CAGR return. I think last 1 year is utmost important, because looking at past 2 year, 3 year return in debt does not make any sense, because 3 years back there could be there could be another fund. The fund would have, the debt composition would have been completely different. And right now, maybe, fund has completely changed the composition of the papers. So what maximum we should look at it is past 1 year return. And if you look at 3 year return at that time, GSEC yield would be around 8%, 9%. Now GSEC has come to 6%. So looking at past return in debt does not make any sense. What we should always look in debt is what is the YTM which they are offering. So here in this tool, you will get the YTM from all the fact sheet. We have captured all the YTM out here, and all the expense ratio is being mentioned out here, and YTM minus expense ratio. Sometimes, maybe you want to look at the funds which are charging the highest expense ratio, maybe just for your own, maybe, where we can get a maximum brokerage or something like that, if you have to look at it. So let's take, for example, ICICI Ultra Short Term. So here, the 8.3 is the YTM, expense ratio is 1.29, net yield is 7.01. But the AAA rated paper is around 40%. And we have seen in the that ICICI Blue Book, they have categorized ICICI Ultra Short Term into an accrual kind of a category, which has a very low tenure. And similarly, SBI Savings Fund. So again, slightly higher expense ratio, but again, paper quality is, slightly, again, IDFC Money Manager. So that is how you should look at while while we select a debt fund. Two things from a brokerage perspective, if we have to look at, you can simply, take expense ratio ascending to descending. You will get to know less expense ratio, what is the maximum yield, and that you can, communicate to client. And looking at, AAA, what is the composition of AAA, that is the best way. So what we should ideally look at, a fund which is giving a maximum AAA rated fund with better yield. So if you can figure it out, that I think that is a way to select, and you can just look at past 1 year return as a reference. because going beyond 1 year does not make sense, because that time what would be the yield we don't know, and fund ka style or composition would have been completely different. And sometimes if you want to look at what is the composition of government security sovereign, you want to give a fund whereby, you know, maximum gilt fund is there. So that also you can see that, you know. So in ultra short term, they have around 23% into GSEC. Canada Robaco, they have around 21% into GSEC. IDBI and ICICI Flexi, they have 13%. So that also you can see that, you know, in terms of how many of them are into, they are having a sovereign paper. So this is one way of looking at a ultra short term category. Similarly, like say for example, I got a lot of questions regarding medium term paper. Like all of you are stuck in mostly medium term, you know, debt category. So if you look at the medium term debt category, and say for example, and return also, like you have an option to look at 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. But to me, 1 year is probably a most preferred one when it comes to analyzing debt fund. Yes, we'll also come to credit risk after this. So abhi yahan pe, if you would look at, you know, in terms of AAA, I would take it as ascending to descending. So you look at those. Okay, so there is a composition of sovereign. Yes. So sovereign also comes into AAA. But here we have categorized it separately, because many a times, you know, people wanted to know, although it is a AAA rated company, but kitna gilt funds hai, kitna government security ka fund hai. I think isme gilt fund aa gaya hai. Just a second. I want to take medium term category. Okay, it is all. Okay, sorry. So let's take a medium term debt. Okay. So medium term debt is here. Okay. Yeah. So abhi we know that medium term sovereign would be very, very less. So see, there are funds which has only exposure to 5% AAA rated. So now aap khud analyze kar sakte hai, you know, how risky is this fund at this point of time, who has around 5 to 10% into, you know. So now if I look at from ascending to descending, so IDFC corporate bond fund being in a medium term category, which has, you know, 3 to 5 year kind of average maturity duration. Look at, they're having 95% AAA. So yield is coming to 8.07, and after expense ratio, net yield is coming to 7.60. Similarly, Kotak bond fund. And then is your DHFL Primarica and HDFC medium term opportunities fund. So this is a way you can, you know, very easily compare all the funds. And the best way of this tool is that, you know, you can eliminate. The tool, why we have created this, the main purpose is that, you know, you can easily do elimination. Because bahut baar it is not possible for us to, you know, hum 50 funds ka fact sheet dekhen. So what this tool will primarily help you, कि एटलीस्ट आप ये 2-3 फिल्टर लगा के आप टॉप 5 सेलेक्ट कर लो. अभी जैसे मैंने ये पकड़ लिया, से फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे को ये 5-6 फंड अच्छा लगा, ये मेरे को लग रहा है कि नहीं, हाँ इनका पोर्टफोलियो सोवरेन पेपर डिसेंट है. अब इसके बाद मैं क्या देखूंगा, किसका AUM सबसे ज्यादा है. मुझे लग रहा है यस IDFC का AUM 11,000 करोड़ है, Invesco 42 crore, definitely I will not invest. DHFL 1,000 crore, during this time I will not invest. Kotak still okay. Yeah.
Saurabh, you can just select the fund, click there, select the top 3 there.
Yes.
In one category. Now you are selecting based on AAA, and now you do another filter and select again maybe your choice fund. So that we will only have selected fund. And this is the past data. This is not the current data. This is actually 2018's data. So don't confuse that these are the funds of today. Okay. This is there what has done in past. So current data is in the current list. Okay.
Yeah, वो live पे मिल जाएगा आपको.
Yes, it's live.
So then if you go to next, you will get these data. So now if you want to look at the fact sheet, you just have to, if you want to go into more details, you can just look at fact sheet of all these, you know, 4 companies or these 4 funds, or maybe you can do money control, value research, what you want to do. So you will get an overall, you know, idea instead how to drill down from 40-50 funds to 4 funds. So many a times, you know, we are dependent upon others. We ask fund.
Saurabh, Nihar, your question is that Franklin is having debt of 63. See, this is old. This is not the current. This is 2 years old data. Okay, so this is the practice, not the current one. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Saurabh.
अभी का नहीं है, ये पुराना है. Yeah.
practice.
So at that point, now they are shifting everything to AAA, but at one point of time, this was the data. So if I look at this, so ideally, then I can look at the portfolio of maybe IDFC corporate in details if you want to look at, and then you can select fund. So this is the beauty of this entire filtration method. So category wise, you can, like suppose a client asks, please recommend me top 4 funds. And many a times we get biased. हम लोग हमेशा biased हो जाते हैं कि हम ICICI के साथ या HDFC के साथ काम करते हैं तो हम उन्हीं का फंड देते हैं. So the tools helps us to break our biasness. ये बहुत important काम करता है tools. This has also helped me also personally because many a times, say suppose I have been giving, say for example, Builder Low Duration or ICICI Ultra to a lot of my clients. But I should also every quarterly I should go and check that yes, last quarter when I did, they were in my top 4 category funds. After 3 quarters, is it the same one or there is something deteriorated in that fund? Has the return deteriorated, or has the fund has changed the style? Fund manager has added some more AAA or less AAA, and depending upon that, you should change your recommendation. So the filter helps us in identifying top 3 to 4 in respective category. That is why and it makes our job very, very simple. So just a second. So again, we'll just move to practice. Like again, in guild fund, if you have to look at, let's take guild fund, say for example, or take dynamic bond fund. इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा variation होता है. So in dynamic bond fund, what we should look at also, we should also look at past 1 year return. Maybe how fund has performed, how they have delivered. So if I look at, then few dynamic bond funds are there which has given comparatively better return.
You just select first top 3, maybe, no? Saurabh?
Yeah.
Just
So maybe, so I have to select. So these are very small AUM. I will not go with this. Maybe I will take ICICI, and then maybe I'll go for a Kotak, a flexi fund, and let me maybe ICICI I have selected one fund. So if I have to go for another AMC,
you can go for another filter now.
Yeah. So ये दो मैंने ले लिया, and
Click another.
now say for example, let me select a AAA into ascending to descending. So then I am finding that maybe Reliance Dynamic Bond Fund in this category, the fund is not bad. Their fund house of this category is slightly well. So let's see. So based upon the filters, 2-3 filters, maybe I can select 3, 4, 5 funds, whatever I wanted to do that. So इस filter से मुझे ये अच्छा लगा, दूसरा filter से मुझे ये अच्छा लगा, मैंने say for example ये ले लिया, and then maybe I proceed to next, and out of 5, now I can select maybe 1 or 2 funds. So it will help me to take decisions, and the decision remains completely unbiased. हम लोग biasness को दूर करके decision लेंगे तो आप देखेंगे you will not make mistake. Why do we make mistakes? Because क्या होता है, हम past में एक AMC से काम करते हैं, हमको बहुत comfort आता है कि नहीं हाँ ठीक है तो चलो ठीक है, वो हमारा habit हो जाता है कि ठीक है कोई भी आता है तो चलो हम वही fund recommend करते रहते हैं. So but I think this makes us, ये हमारा biasness को तोड़ता है, and this tools makes us very disciplined so that we are not taking in decision is being taken by this tool. और कोई client भी पूछता है what is your selection procedure, you can simply log in and you can show him this is how I do that, and this is completely online. You don't have to download an Excel sheet, सारा data download करिए from different sites. You can simply log in from your tab or something like that, and you can show that this is the homework I do, and this is how I give and recommend funds to my client. And अगर आप इस तरह से scientific way में process करेंगे ना, आप देखेंगे we will, lot of mistakes can be avoided. Somebody was asking to do for credit risk fund. I will just do last उसको करते हैं अपने, फिर live session में अपने चले जाते हैं. So debt में अपने गए, let's go to practice. And credit risk separately है कि नहीं, एक बार मैं देख लेता हूँ. Long term, medium term. I think it is categorized as of now into, I think, medium term. Let me just have a look at it.
Even in equity also, there will be some.
एक बार देखते हैं credit risk. Do I have? Yeah. So credit risk. Right now, it is categorized as medium term. So the method which we have taken is based upon the duration. तो ड्यूरेशन के हिसाब से हमने एक्चुअली कैटेगराइज कर दिया था. इफ वी कैन ऑल्सो ब्रेक credit risk into separate category, because right now lot of queries are coming into credit risk, so that can be done by our technical guy. He can simply create another tab for credit risk fund and that can be put into a separate category. So I think वो थोड़ा सा easy हो जाएगा. तो अभी से फॉर एग्जांपल हम लोग इसको डिसेंडिंग टू असेंडिंग लेते हैं तो आप देखेंगे मोस्टली क्रेडिट रिस्क फंड इस कैटेगरी में आ जाएगा अपना. IDFC credit risk, say for example Credit Opportunities Fund, Baroda. So all the if we can stay in a AAA rated fund and for the time being. And one more interesting thing, friends, which I wanted to tell you, if you look at minus the expense ratio, 1.78 is the expense ratio, and if you subtract net, it is coming to 7.33. Perfect. Client will get around 7 to 8% return, not more than that. And now let's go to ultra short term. And even if you look at ultra short term, क्या बोल रहे भैया?
Make it 1 year category.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So even if you look at ultra short term, और अगर ultra short term का YTM देखेंगे आप at that point of time, net YTM will not be much of a difference. अगर आप credit risk fund से expense ratio less करते हैं, and if you look at ultra short term funds, maybe let us take an ultra short term fund जिसका AAA rated paper कम है. Say for example, maybe we want to take a slightly credit exposure. I think ये all हो गया 1 minute. Yeah. Let me just take ultra short term once again and let me just take ascending to descending. Yeah. So let's take maybe Kotak, Franklin, maybe so even if you look at minus expense ratio net YTM, the returns is slightly higher than a credit risk fund. So why to give client a credit risk fund whereby the expense ratio is around close to 1.8 and 2%? Definitely to us it is slightly beneficial, but we should also look at client's perspective. So in ultra short term, what we are giving to client, ठीक है, we are giving him some kind of a credit exposure, but हम उसको duration का risk नहीं दे रहे हैं. क्रेडिट रिस्क फंड में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम क्लाइंट को दोनों रिस्क दे रहे हैं, ड्यूरेशन का रिस्क भी दे रहे हैं और क्रेडिट का रिस्क भी दे रहे हैं, और रिटर्न भी ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल आ रहा है. So if you are getting the same return, your client is getting the same kind of a return. So why to give him a duration and a credit risk? So if you look at risk to reward ratio, ultra short term is much better off, or low duration is much better off than credit risk fund. आप खुद मतलब सोचिए एंड पर्सनली आप जज करिए, आपको खुद को लगेगा कि यस, माइनस एक्सपेंस रेशियो अगर आप कंपेयर करेंगे नेट यील्ड क्रेडिट रिस्क रेशियो का और अल्ट्रा शॉर्ट टर्म का, आप देखेंगे देयर इज नॉट मच ऑफ अ डिफरेंस. इवन इफ यू वांट टू गिव सम काइंड ऑफ अ क्रेडिट एक्सपोजर टू दैट, और आपको यील्ड थोड़ा सा हाई चूज करना है, so that is like something which I wanted to point out to, and that is where I personally prefer ultra short term and low duration, and I don't go up to the credit risk ladder, because I don't want to give dual risk to the client. One is the credit, another is the duration का risk. अगर दोनों जगह client मार खा जाता है तो return goes like very very bad. That is one thing. It's a call which as an advisor you have to take. Maybe you are not earning 1%, you are earning 50 paisa. It is okay at times, but what is more important is like savings client return. Yes, credit risk में हम तब जाएंगे जब we feel that now globally situations are improving, और यहाँ से रेटिंग अपग्रेड का बहुत ज्यादा चांसेस है, और इंटरेस्ट रेट भी इंडिया में नीचे रहेगा. उस समय आपको डबल बेनिफिट रहेगा. तो क्या अभी रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड रेशियो इज वेरी वेरी हाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्रेडिट रिस्क. वो 9% 10% रिटर्न क्लाइंट को दिलाने के लिए जो क्लाइंट रिस्क ले रहा है, दैट इज वेरी वेरी हाई. So whenever you are looking at an opportunity, you should look at risk to reward ratio. Similarly in equity में हम क्लाइंट को क्या बोल रहे हैं कि अभी रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड रेशियो बहुत हाई है सर, अभी डाउनवर्ड रिस्क मेरा मे बी 10% है इक्विटी में, बट मेरा अपवर्ड रिटर्न इज 50%. सेम इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेट. अगर आपको अभी डेट में रखना है क्लाइंट का पैसा, तो आप ये देखिए फ्रेंड्स, रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड रेशियो किसमें सबसे ज्यादा है. हमको ड्यूरेशन का रिस्क नहीं लेना है तो हम ट्रिपल क्रेडिट रिस्क में चले जाएं, और लोअर, और अगर सॉरी ड्यूरेशन का रिस्क नहीं लेना है तो हम AAA में चले जाएं, और हमको सॉरी ड्यूरेशन का रिस्क नहीं लेना है तो हम अल्ट्रा शॉर्ट टर्म लो ड्यूरेशन में चले जाएं, और हमको क्रेडिट रिस्क का भी रिस्क नहीं लेना है तो हम AAA में चले जाएं. अभी कल अगेन देयर वाज अ वेरी डेंजरस डेटा व्हिच गॉट पब्लिश्ड दैट क्रूड इज अगेन एट $1 और मे बी बिलो नेगेटिव. सो फर्स्ट टाइम we are getting such kind of things and data. We don't know what could it happen. Maybe there could be some kind of a huge tension between Middle East countries, and they might do some kind of create internal tensions globally in order to make sure that oil का demand बढ़ जाए, थोड़ा सा threat create हो जाए. So अभी मतलब ऐसा situation है, we don't know, मतलब nobody has experienced, and in fact I can definitely assure you, मतलब even some of the people who are 20-30 old in this industry, or maybe some of the fund managers also right now, nobody has the right answer. They don't know what could happen, because crude going to $1, just imagine what will Middle East country do, and what countries like Russia do if they come into a war kind of a mode or something like that. Just maybe just to threat everybody, something like that. We don't know again what will happen to that. So this is a time when we need to be very cautious when it comes to debt management, or probably so please, again, advice would be to please stick to AAA and maybe take less of duration right now. As of now, probably this seems to be one of the better strategy. Somebody is asking impact on debt and equity market due to crude. See, to be very honest, nobody knows actually. Nobody knows actually. India में तो कुछ impact नहीं होगा. India में it is favorable, because we are the net importer of crude, so for us it will be favorable, and at least government will get some kind of revenue. So it will generate some kind of revenue to the government, and government will save a lot in terms of dollar. वो एक advantage रहेगा. But globally, Middle East country cannot survive with $1 or also getting negative. So some kind of things will burst out maybe in a week or so, which will again take crude back to maybe some higher position. So very critical times. So I think as an advisor, अभी हमारा role बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. So yes. So that's all from the filtration perspective.
And Saurav, anything else in the equity side also, if you think that I have missed? Because we want them to practice the current scenario, the live case. We will not do that on the screen. We will give them time. They all can practice it on their own.
Yeah.
So that part is there. In equity part, anything else which was, I was not, I think something is mixed there in that BAF category also. I was unable to find.
In that?
BAF category, BAF, asset allocators.
Okay, BAF may again, right now, most of the funds are sitting on 70-80% equity. And also when you are
I'm not asking a question. I'm not asking questions, Saurav.
Yeah.
Let's go to the equity category. You can see that.
Yes.
Equity.
Yes.
You were present that time when I was doing this?
I was doing, when you were doing the hybrid, I was there.
Hybrid, this asset allocator and BAF, dynamic asset allocation, is not visible.
Okay.
Probably some changes were done yesterday.
नहीं, वो मेरे ख्याल से hybrid
we will
नहीं
see
आ रहा
that.
है.
We will see that. Maybe it is
ठीक है,
not.
मैं वो check कर लेता हूँ. Meanwhile, I'll just check at the back end.
Okay, ठीक है. And now what we do, we are checking that, and in the meantime, you all can go through some practice and some live data, maybe for next 5 to 10 minutes, let's say. And once you have done, then we will have question and answers. Okay. So I'm stopping the screen now. You all can just have a little understanding. We are there. So just we'll mute Saurav and myself both. You can just practice for some time. Just go through that. No, I am not speaking anything. I want you all to practice. Huh? Please practice. See, and then we have given you a 10-minute break. It's not break, it's actually the practice time. You can see the practice part, practice, and then go to the live. Okay? Just see to yourself, because agar abhi aapne practice kar lenge, it will become easy. Then maybe later part of the day you can okay, we will see that. Maybe you have selected something. Just go back again and then again do Samirji. You will see. Rashmi. I think we have done the part today. The only thing is we need to practice this and just see how things can work. Okay. So we can even